The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. The Vera Time Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Time Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. And I've got a guest already. Hi, Rod. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. And let me just share that I have a guest that she has quite a story and she does quite an amazing work. Her name is Rebecca Claeys. I'm going to pull her up here. Hi, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi, Vera. It's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
And I am just elated that you are here. And I'm going to take a few minutes and share with our audience a little bit about Rebecca Claeys.
Sure.
She is a leading authority on banishing burnout, helping executives experiencing friction and overload claim peace and fulfillment in their lives. Rebecca is a bachelor's educated registered nurse and holds credentials as a certified professional coder and a certified program integrity professional. She has received numerous accolades for her work during COVID-19 public health emergency, including a certificate of recognition and a challenge coin from the state of Wisconsin Department of Health Services and a certificate of appreciation from the U.S. Army. Congratulations,
Thank you.
78th Training Division. After running on the corporate hamster wheel for 20 years, chasing the next big career step, what she calls a what, Rebecca now helps humans facing burnout to reclaim their root purpose, what she refers to as the why, so they define their freedom, their joy, and success on their terms. She is the creator of the Soul Alchemy Cycle, founder of Cleopatra Seeds, and author of When What Gives Way to Why. Well, I am honored to have you here today, and I am going to give you the floor, and I'm going to ask you to just share a little about your life journey from the beginning
Sure.
and how it has impacted and shaped you into the person that you are today.
Absolutely. My journey hasn't been an easy one. Like many people, I had a lot of challenges growing up. I wasn't always the one who everybody wanted to be around. I wasn't always the most popular or had the best ideas that everyone surrounded. Um, I was frequently an outcast, and it really did a lot of damage to my self image. And that took a lot of work to deal with. I also dealt with a lot of trauma as a kid. And one of the challenges that I have had to overcome as an adult is undoing a lot of that trauma. But what that did do for me was really breed in me a deep desire to take care of other people, to make life better for other people. And that's really evident in a lot of my career path. Medicine has been a love of mine since I was in grade school. And actually, leaving high school, I wanted to pursue a career as an orthopedic surgeon. But life had other plans, and I ended up a mother and would not trade that for the world at all. Definitely made it a little bit more challenging of a journey, though. So I now have 5 beautiful children. My oldest is going to be 25 this August, and my youngest is 9.5 right now. And they're all really incredible people who I've had the honor of supporting as they've grown into really unique individuals with their strengths that they are now expressing and taking into the world. I'm really proud of my 2 adult children and see the servants' hearts that they have as well as they step into becoming who they are meant to be.
That is beautiful, and that is that is contributed to you and what you did. And I would imagine that your own trauma is what caused you to be the mother that you are. And let me also say, 64% of adults who have unresolved issues, trauma, drama in their adult life, it often stems from childhood. So understanding that and understanding how you were able to take your experience as a child to mold yourself to be the mother that you became, as well as the entrepreneur and the coach and the author that you are. And I just say, God bless you for having a servant's heart. Now, let's talk about burnout.
Let's talk about burnout.
So my first question to you is, how do you define burnout? Because most people equate it as stress.
Yeah.
So how do you define burnout?
I'm really glad you asked that, Vera, because burnout's kind of a ubiquitous word right now. It's kind of thrown out everywhere, and it's used in a lot of different contexts. It's almost overused and has lost a lot of meaning. A lot of people use it to be like, oh, I'm just a little bit tired and I don't really want to deal with work right now. And that's not the kind of burnout that I work with. The kind of burnout I work with is like that deep, bone tired. You've done everything. You're pretty sure nobody on earth has ever been this tired before. You're not sure if anybody else could possibly understand it kind of tired. Where everything just kind of starts blurring together and nothing really seems interesting, almost where it starts to blend in with depression. That's the level of burnout that I was at when I developed this process. And that's the type of burnout that I help people get out of now. So you're right. I don't believe that that kind of burnout is attributed to stress. I think stress is a symptom of that level of burnout.
So explain to me your process for helping to identify burnout in your clients, and give me an example of someone who may have been burnt out and how your process helped them.
Yeah. So one client I had was very burnt out, very clearly. And one of their big struggles was that they were feeling the effects of it, not only in their work environment, but in their personal life, and had a very strained marriage because of it. Did not have a social life because of it. So they weren't getting any social interaction. It felt like they were having to pour everything of themselves into a work environment that was not supportive, did not align with who they were. And because of that, they were heavily burnt out, and it was impacting their relationship with their spouse because they were not acting like the person that their spouse married. And so what we did was we really broke down who they were and like what they valued without considering anyone else or anything else. And once we got that identified, then we started looking at how do all of the things in your life fit into what you value? And is it in alignment with what you value? Or is it in conflict, in friction with what you value? Where can changes be made? And this particular client ended up leaving their position at the less than ideal work environment and found a role that was much more supportive, that was in an environment where people supported them as a human, and the work itself was more aligned with who they were. And what ended up happening was I actually just recently got a chance to talk with this person. They were so excited to tell me that their marriage is now stronger than ever. They are able to have a social life. They have an abundance of friends, and they are feeling so close to their spouse and so fulfilled in their work because they took the time to align themselves with what they were doing.
That is beautiful. And when you consider, as you were talking, I thought about a statement that James Michener wrote. And he says, the master in the art of living draws no distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation, his love or his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues this vision of excellence through whatever it is he's doing and leaves it to others to determine whether he's working or playing. To himself, he's always doing both. And I thought about that as you were sharing the transformation of that client that started with him leaving that job. When you consider a job is 1/3 of your life. And if you're feeling burnt out in your job, then it impacts on your marriage. It impacts on your relationship with your children. It impacts on your relationship with yourself. And oftentimes could cause the stress that we're not talking about.
Yep, absolutely.
And so in looking at your process, and I know a part of your process is called Alchemy.
Yeah, so the soul alchemy process, or the soul alchemy cycle. Sure. So this actually came from my brother-in-law, who's an amazing human. We were talking through, as I was going through this process and building it for myself, because I built it for myself so that I could get out of that deep level of burnout, and then wrote the book around it so that I could share it with other people. And as I was explaining to him how I had gone through the process, he's like, that sounds a lot like alchemy. And so I asked him to explain that a little bit. And, we were really talking about what are the 4 steps of alchemy. You've got deconstruction, you've got purification, you've got transmutation, and you've got rebuilding. So you got to break it down. Sure.
Repeat those.
Deconstruction, purification, transmutation, and rebuilding.
Purification,
transmutation. Yep.
And
rebuilding.
And rebuilding. And I want us to break this down, okay?
Sure.
So that our audience, those that are here now and those that will be listening later, can better understand.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'll explain exactly how this applies to this process that I went through. So the deconstruction piece is about deconstructing what you think you know. So we all know a lot, and we don't all know everything, which means that there's going to come a time when we're butting our heads up against a wall because we believe something and it's not reality. And we need to take a step back and examine that belief so that we can really get to the heart of the matter. So in this case, we are deconstructing what we think about burnout. Burnout doesn't come from stress, like we've been taught. Stress is a symptom of burnout, but it's not the root cause.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, all right. Keep talking.
Okay, so if we step into purification, then we're going to purify our thoughts and our language around how we speak about ourselves. A lot of times we're speaking about ourselves and we're thinking about ourselves in a very critical manner. And when we're thinking about ourselves and speaking about ourselves in that critical manner, we are doing ourselves dirty. We are not giving ourselves the grace and the credit that we have been granted by our Creator. We are not giving ourselves the accolades that we have earned. We are not taking a step up and claiming the place that has been prepared for us.
Wow. Can you say that again?
Yeah, we are not stepping up and claiming the place that has been prepared for us.
Wow. So when we think and speak about ourselves in a critical manner, we are not allowing ourselves to be all that we can be.
Exactly, exactly. So we have to purify our language and our thoughts and think about ourselves as the amazing creatures that we were created to be. We were created in the image of God.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
would we like diss on that?
Yes. And when we think about being created in the image of God and recognizing that the Spirit of God is within us,
Yeah,
then the burnout can be remedied.
it can. I'm going to take a step back though. So
Okay,
I
go ahead.
said that stress isn't the root cause of burnout, right? So where do you think the root cause is? What do you think it is?
I think the root cause is our thoughts and our mindset and our beliefs. Am I right or wrong?
You're very close. You're very,
Okay,
very
you
close.
tell us.
So your thoughts and your beliefs are integrally tied into it. And it is essentially a myth that we have all bought into as a society, that our individual values, our individual worth as humans is tied directly to what and how much we produce.
And in actuality, that's what causes stress and burnout, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So if we're
what
not,
is it? Go ahead.
yeah, if we're not tying our personal worth to that idea that we have to produce more and we have to produce better all the time, we're releasing ourselves from the stress of being tied to that.
Wow. So how does a person get past
Yeah.
that?
So my pastor growing up once told me, I actually told the whole congregation, I just picked it up because I thought he was talking directly to me at the time. I was feeling convicted. And what I heard was, when you are getting rid of a bad habit, you have to replace it with something good, or the bad habit is coming right back.
Yeah.
You have to replace it with something stronger than the bad habit, or the bad habit's coming right back. So what do you replace it with?
You tell us.
Okay. So that goes into the third step, the transmutation. So what we're doing is we're transmuting the way we see the world, transmuting the way we interact with the world, rather than being chained to this idea of my personal value, my personal worth is directly connected to what and how much I produce. My personal value, my personal worth is directly connected to the fact that I exist.
I love it. Now, for some of our audience who may not clearly understand what transmuting and
Mhm.
transmutation is, can you explain it a little
Yeah,
better?
sure. So transmutation is essentially taking something, breaking it down into its constituent parts, and turning it into something else. So you're
And you
taking this belief, right? And you're flipping it on its head and turning it into something else that is rooted in reality.
and now there may be some people that are saying, but I don't understand. I feel like I'm okay. I just get overwhelmed sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not understanding how me being overwhelmed sometimes is impacting and causing the burnout.
Right. Because when you're overwhelmed, it's a subconscious connection. You're not saying that, yes, my value is absolutely always tied to how much I'm worth, but it is subconscious. It's built into our society. What you produce and how much you produce is tied to your paycheck. Your paycheck then decides what you have access to in the world, what resources you have access. Do you have access to good food? Do you have access to housing or good housing? Do you have the ability to buy comfortable things? Or are you stuck scraping by?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about
So, if a person, they're not burnt out, but they're barely surviving,
it. Mm-hmm.
they are just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
They can't buy the quality food that they need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
They may not even be able to purchase necessities because they're surviving. Rent is due,
Mm-hmm.
bills got to be paid. And
Mm-hmm.
so, talk about that. And how do we get past survival mode?
Yeah. So I'm going to go way back from that. And I want to come back to the individual level on this. But I need to come back to the societal level here, because what that is a societal failure to treat humans as humans.
Yes.
And that's where we need to change how we interact with one another. We are
Yes.
not approaching each other with love.
Say that again, one more
We
time.
are not approaching each other with love.
And love is the key. It's the
it is,
key.
1 John 4:7 says, actually it's 1 John 4:8 says, God is love. If we're made in the image of God, we are made in the image of love. What are we doing not approaching each other with love?
But one of the reasons we're not approaching each other with love is because there are a lot of hurt people out
There
here,
are
and hurt people hurt
hurt
people.
people.
So, how do
Yeah.
we allow
Mhm.
and help people understand that all of this visceral hate and all this
Mhm.
negativity, it's not about out there, it's about in here. So,
Yeah, so
how do we get, go
that's
ahead,
my
go
next
ahead.
book. That's my next book.
Is it?
It really is. I actually have another book planned. Actually, I have a series planned, and that is the next book. Is talking about love and how love is the key to everything, to how we
It
interact with
is.
one another, to how we fix everything that's going on. It comes down to loving ourselves, to loving
First.
our neighbors, to loving our environment, to loving the people everywhere around us, to loving
Yes.
humanity.
Yes.
So that's the next book as a teaser here. I don't know when it's coming out yet. Um,
But you know it's coming.
I know it's coming. I got it all planned out. So yeah, that is the key. We gotta love each other. And that societal need to shore up where we have failed in the past is something that's really strong. It's not something that any one of us is going to be able to do. It's not something that the individual who is in that place is going to be able to do. It's not something that they can be expected to do. So I have been that individual in that place. I have been the single mother, just scraping together quarters to get enough gas so that I can get to work and get a paycheck to feed my kids. I have been there.
Yes, and
It's
so many,
real.
so many people are there.
Yeah. And I have enough privilege in my life that there were structures accessible to me to pull myself out. That is not the reality for a lot of people.
Now you talked about privilege.
Yes.
You said I had enough privilege in my life
Yep.
whereby those privileges are not accessible to everybody.
They're not.
Can you share what some of those privileges were?
Absolutely. Number one, I'm white. That is top, first and foremost, because I'm white. People are going to see me and they're going to believe me. They're going to give me the benefit of the doubt. That is always at the top of my mind. And that is a privilege that I try to harness whenever I can to elevate the voices of others who don't have that privilege.
And being white is considered an unearned
100%.
privilege.
100%.
It is an unearned privilege.
Yeah, I didn't earn this skin.
Right. Right. Exactly. And this is so, I mean, what we're talking about is so important. So the first privilege, which is unearned, is the fact that you're white.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about some of those other privileges.
I have two parents. Now they're divorced, but they weren't divorced my entire time growing up. I have two parents, and they each have a job. So when push came to shove, if I really needed to, I could ask them for money.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
There's the ability for generational wealth there is a thing. And because they're also white, they had the ability to build that generational wealth.
Yes, and you know, this could be a touchy conversation.
Oh, it so can. But it's reality.
It is reality. It is reality. And you know, our show is taking a turn. Actually, I have a couple of commercials I need to play.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and we're going to look at your books.
Yeah.
And talk about them and how that ties in to all the stuff we're talking about right now. So we will be right back.
Hallelujah.
Hey there. Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level. allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9 to 5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9 to 5 Club today and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
Let's make magic happen together. Let me tell you about No More 9 to 5. No More 9 to 5 is a networking, masterminding group that looks at helping people who may be on a job or may have their own business look at ways to generate additional residual income while also giving tools and resources and trainings with their network. And you can join for $1.11. No more 9 to 5. You do not want to miss. Go to this link that I have put in the comments, and it's bit.ly/no more 9 and the number 2 5 BT. Check it out. Join us and be inspired, encouraged, motivated, uplifted, and look at ways of additional residual income. No more 9 to 5. Now I have enough.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products because, Mama knows what you need.
Let me tell you about these products. Shampoos, conditioners, hair serums, moisturizers, and they're for all ethnicities. And they smell great and they work well. Check out mamaknowsproducts.com. Why? Because Mama knows what you need. So check it out. Check it out. One more.
In a world where authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
Let me tell you, Ariel Chime, she knows what she's doing when it comes to creating videos for companies, for organizations, for individuals. She is awesome. So you want to check out Authentic Divine Marketing at https:/bit.l/divine chime. I put it in the chat. I'm telling you, check her out. I have several videos of my own that she's created for me, one of which I will be sharing later on in the program to promote one of my programs. So, all right, now back to our conversation. And let me pull you. Okay, let me go to banners and pull you up. Okay, and now. Let me tell you, Rebecca, you're so special. And earlier today, before we get into the book situation, earlier before we started the show, we were talking about the power of prayer and how it has impacted your life. And you shared a story that also has to do with being obedient.
Yes.
When you are when spirit, universe, whoever you want to call, when you hear that still small voice, or you have a dream, or you see a vision, you need to listen. You need to listen. So share that story.
Sure. And yeah, sometimes that still small voice gets a little loud.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's when you really need to start paying attention. So when I was 16, I had the honor of going to El Salvador on a missions trip with my church. And we, at one point, were in a smaller area of the city and had the ability to stop in and visit a congregation. And the missionary we were working with had a really compelling story, and he was invited to share that story with the congregation. And so I was sitting in a pew right next to the aisle. And, I have ADHD. I'm a little impulsive from time to time. So at one point, I had looked across the aisle, and there was a man sitting there who had a rag in his mouth. I wasn't really sure what to make of it, but turned, faced forward, trying to be very respectful of both the missionary and the congregation whose house we were visiting. And I heard a voice say, "Go pray for him." And I'm thinking this is just one of my impulses. So I'm like, nope, I am going to sit here. I am going to be respectful. I am going to be quiet. I am not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here. And then I heard a little louder, "Go pray for him." And I said, nope, I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to be the person I'm supposed to be. I am going to sit on my hands, and I am not going to do anything because I don't want to be that impulsive person. And then I heard a loud voice say, "If you don't go pray for him, he's not going to get another chance." And okay, Lord, I'm listening. So I, as quietly as I could, as undisruptively as I could, worked my way across the aisle and knelt down next to this man and put my hand on his shoulder, raised my other hand, and just started praying. And at one point, I felt this jolt of energy go through my right hand, across my body, through my left hand, and into his body. And he jumped. And then he turned and looked at me and started crying. And I didn't speak a lot of Spanish at the time, just enough to get by. And we had translators there, so it was okay that I didn't speak a lot of Spanish. But I just smiled at him, said, "Dios te bendiga," and went and sat back in my seat. Thought nothing of it. Figured we'd just finish out the service and we'd go back to our mission and I'd get to go to bed. So I was starting to feel a little tired by that point. And the service ended. We all stood up. And there's a woman who was standing next to him, or sitting next to him in the pew. And she came over and she just started grabbing my shoulders and speaking to me in very rapid Spanish. But I understood her. And she said, "He was blind and now he can see.
Wow.
Thank you." And it hit me. I was a little bit of shock because that's not at all what I expected to happen. You're in the day-to-day mundanities and you don't expect that kind of stuff to happen in your life ever.
That is amazing. And the fact that your prayers opened a blind man's eyes. And just think, had you not been obedient, he would still be blind.
Yeah.
So thank you for being obedient. Absolutely amazing story. Amazing story. Now, let's talk about your books.
Sure. I like my books.
Okay. Yes. Now, we have, first, we have the hardback,
Sure. Yep.
and that is When What Gives Way to Why.
Yes.
What made you have that title?
You know, it came to me in a dream.
Wow.
I was in my dream, I was at a book signing, and I looked at the cover, and that was the title. And I knew that that's what I needed to name my book.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now that's the hardback, but
Yep.
you also have a paperback.
I do, yes. So the paperback's pretty new. That just came out a couple months ago.
And then you have included a workbook.
Yes. So both the hardcover and the paperback have 13 exercises throughout the course of the book that walk everybody through that soul alchemy cycle. So all 4 of those steps, from the deconstructing your beliefs, through the purification of your thoughts and your language, through transmuting your beliefs, and then through rebuilding your reality. And so the companion workbook is designed to make that process even easier. It took those 13 exercises and built out really solid worksheets around them. I do have some of these worksheets available on my website for free, so anybody can just go and download them. But the full 13 exercises are available in the companion workbook. And there are even, I think there's one exercise where you're supposed to cut papers out of the book and like cut out shapes and move them around and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Make it a little fun.
Yeah, so you can go to http://www.liveinyourrhythm.com and pick up those worksheets. In addition, you can purchase the book from her website, or you can purchase the book, or if you don't want to purchase the book and you just want to go to the library, you can go to the library and pick up her book. If the library does not have her book, you can ask them to order it.
Yeah. And so I will clarify that the books and the worksheets are both on the website store. So that cleopatraseeds.com/store is where you can go and find both the books and the website. I'm sorry, the worksheets. The Live in Your Rhythm is actually an offer I have for all of your listeners today. And this is something that's a little bit special and a little bit new. I'm trying it out and seeing what folks think of it. It's something that's been, I've previously only shared the information that's available at this site with clients in my $3,600 Plant and Grow program. And it's been so life-changing for them that I needed to just make it more widely available. So what I'm offering for your listeners is an exclusive 3-episode podcast. It's a complete series. It's just over an hour in total runtime. And it'll help you take the first steps towards managing your overwhelm and living in your rhythm.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're somebody who, like I have been in the past, is chronically double, triple, or even quadruple booked all day long, this is going to give you some simple, concrete steps that you can take immediately to clear everything away that doesn't add to your effectiveness.
So go to liveinyourrhythm.com and get her show, her podcast.
Yep. You can sign up there and it will send you an email. I'm still testing out those email links. So if it doesn't send it to you right away, just give it a little time and it should send it to you not too terribly long after.
Awesome. Well, I'm putting that in the comments for people to get. And also, if someone wanted to have a consultation with you.
Sure. Yeah.
Let me put this up.
Yeah, so that's another exciting new project that I'm doing. I'm shifting away from one-on-one counseling and moving more toward a community. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to necessarily contain the lessons that we're learning in a one-on-one. We can all learn from each other really effectively. And so, as we are learning lessons, I want to make sure that everybody has access to that same information. So, I'm building this community right now where people can go through this whole soul alchemy cycle with me, with regular weekly support on phone calls, as well as daily support in the community via message. So there's a chat board in there, as well as some curriculum that has assignments and homework to go through. And then there's a calendar that shows you where all of the different phone calls are. It's so exciting. I'm really
Oh,
excited
I'm
about this new
excited for
platform.
you. So where is is it on social media, or is it a standalone?
It is a standalone. And so that's what we're looking at for if you're interested in it, because not everyone's going to be a good fit for the community. We want to keep it a real tight, safe place where people are comfortable being themselves in that group, where they don't feel like they have to censor themselves as they're doing this deep exploration of who they are. So, really encourage folks, if you think this fits you, book a consultation call with me. Let's sit down and talk through if it's the right fit for you. And if so, I will get you connected in with that community.
Amen. Awesome. And I do have the link in the comments, but you can go to https://hercalendar.com/r Claeys at Cleopatra Seeds. Tell me, okay, how did you get the name Cleopatra Seeds, and what does that mean?
Yeah, so if you look at the book cover again, the art that's on there is a phoenix, but one of the wings is a leaf. So that's the official logo for my company. And that was created for me about 5 years ago by a friend who was actually creating it for a different project that I was working on, but it just kind of sat around and wasn't really doing anything. When this project presented itself and the soul alchemy piece came to be, the phoenix and its rebirth is frequently associated with alchemy. So it felt like a natural fit there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then as I was starting to think about, okay, how do I want to build the business? How do I want to brand and associate my business and our mission with, a picture, an image? I knew that I wanted growth in there because we are all about growth. We're about building ourselves up from the ashes, essentially. So this whole idea of the phoenix kept coming back. And I don't know how much you know about Cleopatra. She's kind of this mythical figure almost. She's this Greek Macedonian queen of Egypt from this lineage of Macedonian rulers. And they all spoke Macedonian. But she took it on herself to learn 8 languages, including Common Egyptian, which none of the other Macedonian rulers did, so that she could go out in the streets and commune with her people and learn from them what their lives were like. And so she could be a good ruler, right? I mean, that servant ruler heart kind of thing again. She was a brilliant military strategist, which a lot of people don't know about her.
No.
She was a prolific author. She wrote so many books. We lost basically all of them when the Library of Alexandria burned down, but she was a prolific author. She dabbled in alchemy, trying to understand why things worked the way they did and if she could change one thing into another. She was one of the most brilliant scientific minds of her time.
Wow. See, I didn't know
But
any of this about
right?
her.
So all of this knowledge about her is kind of buried. It's all below this surface level knowledge of she had this affair with Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, and she died by the asp bite. That's basically all anybody knows about her. And she was beautiful, and she ruled Egypt.
And
But
she
there
was
was,
a woman of color.
well, she wasn't actually. She was, because she was Greek Macedonian.
Oh, okay. I got
She
you.
was European.
Okay.
Which is why the Macedonian rulers refused to learn the common Egyptian. There was a little racism going on there.
Yeah.
They didn't want to deign to learn, a language that was lesser than themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, but she's like, no, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to learn this stuff. Yeah, she's just an incredible human that
Wow.
we don't give enough credit, which is so common for women, right? We don't get enough credit for all of the things that we do. We've got this surface level image that everybody sees, but they don't understand all of the depths of us. And so when we're talking about seeds and growth, I think about that saying that they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds.
Yes, I love that.
Yes. So that
Oh,
with Cleopatra and all of that hidden knowledge, that hidden energy, building and fostering growth within the confines of this community that we're now building. That's what
that's
all kind of went into
beautiful.
that.
That's beautiful. Rebecca, you have such a beautiful spirit. You really do. And your love, you exude love because you're giving. You did say that we talked about purpose as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to take a few minutes to talk about purpose, and I would
Sure.
love for you to share what you feel your purpose is.
Yeah.
And I can share what I feel my purpose is too, but you go ahead.
Absolutely. So the third step, because we didn't get all the way through the alchemy steps. So the third step, that transmutation, we're changing what we believe about ourselves. The end result of that, and then what that leads into for that fourth step of rebuilding, that is the purpose. That is kind of the crux of all of this. And a lot of people think of a purpose as something to do. It's a goal. It's something that is there to be accomplished. And I choose not to look at it that way. I choose to look at it as an adjective. It's a descriptor of me. When I say my purpose statement, you should know everything you need to know about who I am as a person. And it's rooted in my values. So my purpose statement, and everybody's is going to be different because it's going to be based on who they are as a human.
Yes.
But my purpose statement is 6 words. It's fight wisely, share freely, love recklessly.
I love it. Fight wisely, share freely, love recklessly. I love it. Well, mine is uplift, encourage, motivate, inspire, educate, and encourage.
You do those things too. I mean, we've not known each other for a terribly long time.
Right.
But I feel all of that coming from you too. So you are living your purpose right now.
I do believe I'm living my purpose right now. And for a long time, I didn't know what my purpose was. And so many times people don't know what their purpose is and understand it's an adjective.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
a thing. It's an
not
adjective.
a thing to do. It's who you are.
I love it. And I have a commercial regarding one of my purposes. So let me play that right quick and then we will be right back. So give me 1 minute here. Let me pull it up. And this, what I'm sharing was actually created by Authentic Marketing, Ariel. And I'm really proud of what she did to help me promote what I'm trying to promote. So
Very cool.
I'm trying to, I thought I had pulled them all up so that they would all be in one place, but I guess I didn't. So let me go to it. And we will be right back. Father, provider, protector, role model for a son, the image of the man that will be the husband of your daughter when that time comes. What's best for your children should be concern number one, regardless of any obstacles a father must overcome. Sometimes the injustices of our society towards many of our fathers can make it hard to stand, but you gotta stand and be a man and a father to your children in every way you possibly can. Demonstrate their worth through you by the words that you say and the things that you do. Don't ever put your children down or call them out of their name. They may become whatever you claim. Lift them up to higher ground. Let their inner beauty be seen, be found. Show them and tell them how special they are. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light to take them far. Show them and tell them how much you really care, and let them know no matter what, you will always, in all ways, be there. Pray that our fathers will be guided by the light to lead their children in the ways that are right. My name is Vera Thomas. I am a certified ICF coach, a speaker, a trainer, author, and poet. I wrote that poem, and the city of Akron commissioned it and gave it to every father that took their child to the zoo this one Father's Day weekend. I have since developed a comprehensive training program that outlines everything that's in the poem to help fathers continue to enhance the relationships that they have with their children. So join me for a mastermind preview and get an idea of what a mastermind looking at enhancing your relationship with your children would look like. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. The preview of the mastermind is on June 29th. You can get tips for fathers and register at the same time. So click on bit.ly/tips for fathers and get the tips and register for a 90-minute mastermind for fathers, and it's called Nurturing Relationships, Strengthening Bonds. So join me on June 29th. I'm doing two different ones, one at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So grab your spot before it's too late, and I will see you on June 29th for Nurturing Relationships, Strengthening Bonds, a fatherhood mastermind. Why do I do this? Oftentimes people say, well, why would a woman be doing this? Well, I grew up not knowing my biological father, and that was a void. I also have been in situations where I was around young women, picking them. I used to drive Uber, especially when I was in Georgia, and I would pick up young women between the ages of 18 or younger on up, picking them up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to see some guy, and they're looking for love in all the wrong places. I would ask them the question, What type of relationship did you have with your father? I would say that 3 out of 5 of those young women would say, I never knew my dad. So this is a critical opportunity. And you know what? I ran my mouth a little too long. So I'm going to give you the floor and let you wrap up our show. And we will see you all next on Thursday. All right. So now I'm going to give you the floor.
All right. Thanks, Vera. So I guess what I would share with your listeners, kind of as a send off, is remember that you were created to be somebody. You have had a place prepared for you. Claim it. Claim who you are. Remember that you are a human being, not a human doing. And
I love that.
give yourself the grace to rest.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We are a human being. Say that again.
We are human beings, not human doings.
Oh, I love it. So be. So be.
Yeah.
And live in your purpose. God
Yes.
bless. And thank you so much. And if you'll hold on, we'll be right back.
The Vera